Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're doing something a little different. We're not just going to look at information. We are embarking on a personal journey. We're about to explore a map of the most fascinating, complex universe there is, the one inside you.
So let me ask you something. Have you ever felt it? That feeling that you're kind of stuck, running into the same problems over and over? Or maybe you hear this quiet, persistent little whisper inside, calling you towards something more. The source material for this actually has a name for that. It's the call of the soul. And it's basically an invitation to go exploring in the depths of your own being.
All right, to really get into this, let's use a powerful metaphor. Think about your life as a story, like a grand, epic adventure. And in this story, you are the hero. This isn't just some nice, fluffy idea. It's the whole framework for understanding that self-discovery is an active, really courageous quest. So, what exactly are we looking for on this quest? We're searching for what's called our inner code. Imagine it like a psychic footprint, something that makes you completely 100% unique. It's this amazing mix of your personal history, all your experiences, and these deep, universal patterns that, believe it or not, connect every single one of us. Understanding this code, well, that's the first real step to unlocking your most authentic potential. Okay, so where in the world does a journey like this even begin? Well, think about it. Any great explorer needs a map, right? Before we can navigate our inner world, we have to get a feel for the territory, the basic landscape of our own psyche. So to draw this map, we need to know that our inner world has two main layers. On one hand, you've got the personal unconscious. This is like your own private psychic history. It's got all your forgotten memories, your personal experiences, all that stuff. But then, on the other hand, there's something way, way bigger, the collective unconscious. You can think of this as humanity's shared ancestral library. It's this deep, deep reservoir of patterns and symbols that we all inherit, just by being human. And what do we find inside that giant shared library? We find archetypes. These are the universal, primal characters that show up in every human story ever. Characters like the hero, the wise sage, or the nurturing mother. They're these built-in patterns that shape how we see the world. And on our journey, they're going to be our guides, our allies, and yeah, sometimes our biggest challenges. Which brings us right to the next stage of our journey, the trials. This is the part of the story where the hero, and that's you, comes face to face with all of it. The guides, the allies, and, yes, the monsters that live inside your own inner world. Now, the first character we usually meet is probably the most misunderstood one of all, the shadow. And no, this is not just your dark side. The shadow is everything about yourself that you've pushed away, or maybe you just don't even recognize is there. And this is so important. It doesn't just hold the traits you see as negative, it also contains this huge undeveloped positive potential. Some people even call it a golden shadow, full of hidden talents you just haven't owned yet. So, how on earth do you find your shadow? Well, Jung gave us this brilliant, really practical tool. Just think about it for a second. You know that one thing that just drives you crazy about someone else, that intense irritation? More often than not, it's a giant signpost pointing directly to a part of your own shadow. You're just projecting it onto them. It's a mirror. Hey, remember that feeling of being trapped in a repeating cycle we talked about at the beginning? Well, the engine that drives those cycles actually has a name. Complexes. Think of them as these emotionally charged knots in your personal history. They act like their own little personalities, and they're the real source of those automatic reactions and those repetitive life patterns we all know so well. Now, these complexes, they don't just exist in a void. They play out across this vast inner landscape. In fact, the source material for this explainer maps out this whole terrain into 12 key dimensions. These are distinct areas of your life where all these inner characters and patterns show up most powerfully. Just to give you a taste, let's look at a few examples. You've got the influence of childhood, which is the home turf of our inner child. Or how about the need for control? That's a territory run by what you might call an inner architect. Each one of these 12 dimensions, from how we deal with our emotions to our attachment to the past, is like a whole different region on our inner map, a new place to discover a piece of our inner code. So we've mapped the territory, we've met the characters. What's the actual goal of this whole heroic journey? It's not about defeating all the monsters or becoming some perfect version of yourself. Nope. It's about integration. It's about weaving all of these different parts into one coherent whole. The official name for this whole quest is individuation. It's this heroic, lifelong journey of becoming who you truly are. It's all about bringing the conscious parts of you and the unconscious parts of you into a conversation so you can become a complete, authentic individual. And the source material is really clear about this. The goal isn't to be perfect. The goal is to be total.
So the big question is, how do we actually do this? Well, you can break it down into some real, actionable steps. First, you have to acknowledge the patterns, see the complexes that are driving them. Second, you start a conscious dialogue with your shadow. You literally ask it what it needs, what gold it might be hiding. And third, you take what you learn and you integrate it into your conscious life, which means you can start making new choices based on this much deeper self-awareness.
And this, right here, perfectly illustrates the final outcome. Just imagine every single part of you, your ego, your inner child, your shadow, all your archetypes. Imagine each one is a different colored thread. The whole journey of individuation is the art of weaving all those threads together to create this complex, unique, and absolutely beautiful tapestry of your complete self.
You know, the final stage of any great heroic journey is the return. The hero comes back home, but they're changed, and they have a treasure to share. For us, this just means taking this new sense of wholeness and living it out in the real world, actually embodying our authentic inner code every single day.
So, let's boil this entire journey down. What are the key takeaways? First, your psyche is this huge, incredible universe you can explore, not some problem you need to fix. Second, those repeating patterns in your life, they're calls to adventure, not life sentences. Third, and this is a big one, integrating your shadow makes you whole, not evil. And finally, always remember that self-discovery is a continuous journey. It is not a final destination. This journey, the process of becoming who you really are, it's a privilege. So as we close this out, the question really isn't whether the call is there, because it is. The real question is, are you ready to pick up the map, begin the exploration, and answer?